You've been trained to believe that everything has a file, a record, proof. What if I told you that some operations leave nothing behind? No documents, no evidence, no trace. Only outcomes. Tonight, you're about to explore the CIA operation that never existed. A program so secret it was designed to erase itself from reality. And yet, it changed everything. You don't know it happened, but the effects are all around you. Welcome to the Paradox Archive.
Level 1, the missing file. You're standing in a room that technically doesn't exist. Concrete walls, no windows, a faint hum of ventilation. In front of you is a metal table. On it, a manila folder stamped Top Secret. But something is wrong. There's no operation name, no date, no department seal, just a serial number that leads nowhere. You flip it open. It's blank, not redacted, blank. And that's when you realize the most classified operations aren't erased. They're never recorded at all. Level 2, the architecture of plausible deniability. You've heard the phrase before, plausible deniability, but you've misunderstood it. It doesn't mean denying involvement. It means designing a system where involvement can never be proven. Inside the Central Intelligence Agency, compartmentalization isn't just policy, it's architecture. Analysts don't know operators. Operators don't know funding channels. Funding channels don't know the mission objective. Everyone knows something. No one knows everything. That's not dysfunction, that's design. And sometimes, even the design disappears. Level 3, the budget that wasn't there. Every year, the US government passes a classified intelligence budget. Most citizens never see the numbers, but investigative journalists have confirmed the existence of something else, a black budget inside the black budget. Programs that don't appear in oversight summaries. Projects with funding allocations that shift across agencies like shadows. Money that moves through shell contracts, through research grants, through private defense firms, until it becomes invisible. And if an operation doesn't officially exist, it doesn't need a line item. Level 4, the analyst who spoke once. In 2007, a former intelligence contractor gave an off-record interview. He described something strange, not torture, not surveillance, not drone programs, something else. He called it zero acknowledgement operations. Operations so sensitive that even internal databases contained no traceable keywords, no searchable metadata. Access required verbal authorization, nothing written, nothing stored. He said one sentence before ending the interview. If it fails, it never happened. If it succeeds, it never happened. You might think that's paranoia until you reach level 5. Plot bomb. You assume this story is about foreign soil, about covert action overseas. It's not. It's about you. Because the operation that never existed wasn't conducted in another country. It was conducted domestically, not through violence, not through arrests, but through influence, perception, information shaping. In the years following 9/11, the intelligence community expanded internal information resilience programs. Officially, they were designed to counter extremist narratives. Unofficially, the infrastructure allowed something far more powerful: narrative calibration. Not censorship, calibration. Trending topics redirected, algorithms adjusted, media incentives nudged. Nothing illegal, nothing visible. But if done correctly, reality bends without anyone noticing. And there is no file, because technically it's not an operation, it's an ecosystem. Level 6, the private contractors. You dig deeper. You don't find CIA field officers, you find contracts, cybersecurity firms, behavioral analytics startups, public relations consultancies, data architecture companies in Northern Virginia, each performing research, each legally independent, each separated by layers of liability protection. But when mapped visually, they connect, like neural pathways. And guess where many of them orbit? Langley, headquarters of the Central Intelligence Agency. Coincidence? Maybe, but coincidence repeated at scale becomes structure. Level 7, the political battlefield. Modern warfare isn't about land, it's about cognition. After the Cold War, intelligence doctrine evolved. Influence operations once aimed at adversaries abroad, but the digital era erased borders. When narratives cross oceans instantly, where does foreign end and domestic begin? Official doctrine prohibits domestic propaganda, but what if a tool built for foreign psychological operations bleeds inward through private partnerships? Not intentionally, not maliciously, just structurally. And now the scariest part. If perception can be nudged so subtly enough, no one knows they've been influenced, including you. Level 8, the leak that wasn't a leak. You search for whistleblowers. You expect a Snowden, an expose, a smoking gun. There isn't one. Because you can't leak a file that doesn't exist. You can't photograph a database entry that never was typed. You can't FOIA a verbal authorization. The genius of a non-existent operation is this: it leaves no scar, only outcomes, shifts in public mood, subtle synchronization of messaging, coordinated organic movements. And when analysts notice anomalies, they find legal justifications, policy memos, interagency task forces, all technically legitimate, individually harmless, collectively transformative. That's the horror. Level 9, the moral fracture. Now you face the uncomfortable question: what if it worked? What if subtle influence prevented riots, prevented extremist recruitment, prevented violence? What if narrative steering stabilized a fragile system? Would you still object? Democracies defend themselves. Authoritarian states control narratives aggressively. If one side refuses influence operations and the other weaponizes them, who wins? This is where the moral fracture begins, because the tools that protect a nation can also reshape it. And when operations are never written down, oversight becomes philosophical, not procedural. You're no longer debating legality, you're debating reality itself. Level 10, the final paradox. Imagine this. You demand transparency, you demand proof, you demand documentation, but the operation's defining feature is its absence of documentation. If Congress investigates and finds nothing, does that prove innocence or perfection? Here is the final paradox. The most powerful intelligence operation is the one that convinces you it doesn't exist. And if it truly never existed, then why does the structure supporting it remain? Why does the funding flow? Why do the contractors thrive? Why does narrative gravity feel guided? Maybe there was no master operation. Maybe there was no secret room. Maybe no one ever designed it. Maybe it emerged organically from fear, from technology, from bureaucratic evolution. A system that learned to protect itself without orders, without files, without fingerprints. An operation with no beginning, no signature, no admission, no ending. And if you're waiting for proof, you've already misunderstood the architecture. Because the CIA operation that never existed doesn't need to be real. It only needs to be possible. And now you have to ask yourself, if you can't see the hand on the scale, how would you know it's there?